Well, the chairman of the NTAIG on immunization has spoken to Republic TV. Now, he's cleared the air around the controversy that surrounds 2 doses of the Covishield vaccine. He spoke to us exclusively and explained the thought process behind the 12 to 16 week gap that the government has now recommended between 2 doses of Covishield.
In the last 48 hours, there have been several claims made by a few sections on some issues. For example, they tried to first rake up the dosage gap and portray the picture that everybody was not on the same page within the government. And secondly, there has been this controversial claim around Covaxin. To answer some of the questions and put the facts on the table and also talk about India's vaccine program, we have with us Mr. N.K. Arora, who's the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization. He's the chairman of the COVID Working Committee. So he will answer all the questions on everything vaccine in India. Thank you, Mr. Arora. I think we've been able to speak to you at the right time, at the most opportune moment. And I have Dr. Anshuman Kumar as well. He's a cancer surgeon joining us live from Delhi. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, Dr. Kumar, for joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Arora, let me ask you first, what's this controversy around the dosage gap? Was there ever a disagreement, or were people on different pages on this subject?
So I would like to give certainly the background. First of all, obviously, so far, at least we were not aware that any dissent is there, because nothing was mentioned in the minutes that there is a dissent. We have the way minutes are prepared. If there is a dissent, it is documented. There may be discussion on various aspects in the meetings. We have 3 layers of decision making. The COVID working group is the first one. Then we have STSC, which is the technical limb of NTAGI, and then the NTAGI. There are 3 limbs. And we, as a COVID working group, we do the groundwork. All data is collated, literature is put together and presented to the technical experts. Decision is made, and all kinds of discussion will take place. If there is a dissent, it is documented. We go to the next level. Again, wider group discusses. If there is any issue, the dissent is noted. And finally, it goes to NTAGI, which is chaired by the health secretary. During this whole process, there have been discussions, there is no doubt, and I think that is a confidential part of it. But at no point anybody had put in a dissent on that. The question is that in our minutes, it was written, the STSC minutes, that at least 12-week interval will be done for between first and second dose, at least 12 weeks. And then in the NTAGI, finally, because of programmatic issues, convenience, because you can't expect everybody to land up exactly on the 12th when the 12-week completes. So a flexibility of 12 to 16 weeks was given. But this figure of 16 is not a magic figure. Canada has been doing the same thing. Sri Lanka, in our next door neighbor, is also having 12 to 16. So there are countries, examples, where this interval is used. And that is what is finally decided. At no point a formal dissent was put in paper, which is the practice. Whenever it is done, it is shared and it is documented also.
Controversy number 2 has been, Mr. Arora, around this rather ridiculous claim at a time when, I think all of us, and here at Republic TV, we've been running a campaign called India Get Vaccinated, asking people to come out and get vaccinated. Now, we know vaccine hesitancy is a factor, but at a time like this, now we feel it's disservice when you come out and make, these ridiculous claims about, cow slaughter, calf serum being part of the Covaxin. Now, what's your response to this controversy?
I think it is truly ridiculous. This fetal calf serum is part of every scientific experiment. I'm sure our dear panelists would also agree that in a lot of experiments and molecular biology, cell cultures, this product is used, not for since recently, but ages. It has all been There are several other vaccines also where vero cell culturing is done and where such kind of products are used. So I would just say it is ridiculous, and I would not like to make any further comments on that.
Okay. Now, let me take that question to Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar, what do you make of this claim? Now, do you see in the beginning, let me tell you, we've debated this from end 2020. Right, this Covaxin controversy began where a few political parties back then came out and said, some called it the BJP vaccine. Now, a lot of ridiculous statements were made, right? And a lot of claims were made about the vaccine, but eventually the vaccine has gone through the trials, is out there in the market, and it's a made in India vaccine. Now, we feel it could also be part of perhaps a conspiracy to sort of, target one particular vaccine maker or maybe something mischievous. Now, what's your take on this?
Right, yeah. I'm absolutely aware of the today's or 2 days trending social media message that bovine serum used in Covaxin kind of thing. As well as you told rightly, that from the history, the moment we are into the process of vaccination policy or program manufacturing, lot of rumor, anti-vaccination rumor was there. Means we were preparing for anti-coronavirus thing like vaccine, but anti-vaccine rumor was there. That is purely political thing. And I always used to say, if you can't make politics healthy, at least remove the politics from health. That is the requirement of this country. What happened? Number one tagline is, Covaxin doesn't contain bovine serum itself. Doesn't contain. There is no confusion. Yes, but during process and manufacturing of many drugs, as Dr. Arora rightly said, there are various animal products, including serum, blood, bone, many elements have been used during the process, during research, during vero culture. There is a process called vero culture. We use it. Moreover, ancient times, Ayurveda, allopath since 460 BC, when Hippocrates came up as a father of modern medicine. There are many animal products used in the vaccine treatment program. But now ethical issue has become a major problem. That's the reason pharma company now starting this claim kind of disclosure that this is vegetarian source, this is non-vegetarian source. That's all, with brown tag and green tag. But regarding the vaccination policy, I don't think any controversy. It's just purely political, purely social media controversy, nothing to do with the science. If science start thinking about the religion, mainly religion, we can't progress, we can't innovate, we can't do discovery against any disease. That's the tagline.
Mr. Arora, questions also around the efficacy of the existing vaccines against the Delta variant and different efficacies of different vaccines, right? Now, are we expecting more vaccines? When are we expecting these vaccines to come in? Because there is a lot of buzz around these vaccines perhaps coming in the middle of July, August. We know that things will be better. What's your estimate?
So before we go to the new vaccine, I would like to make additional the efficacy and effectiveness of our two current vaccines. There are two things. One is, as of today, about 26 crore people plus have received the vaccine. Doses have been dispensed of, out of which 18 crores or so have received only single dose. About 4.5 crores have received 2 doses. Now, when we have this, the data has come up from two sides, both are in public domain. The health providers' protection with 1 dose and 2 doses have come up from Chandigarh when they were facing the Alpha variant or the UK variant. And the vaccine efficacy was 75% in actual ground condition. Whether you received 1 dose or 2 doses, in the short run, you were protected from symptomatic disease and practically 95% protection from hospitalization and death. The last 2 days, another data has come in from Vellore, which is during the peak of Delta variant. And again, it is among health providers, and it shows the protection with 1 dose is 61% and 2 doses 65% from symptomatic disease. But From severe disease and hospitalization and death, it is over 95, 97%. So what it means is the way our vaccines are there, they are working and they are taking even a single dose at short term. This 4 or 5 months, it is working very well. Now coming to the new vaccines, I think over next few weeks, we will have world's first DNA vaccine, which is totally indigenous vaccine, which should be coming to the market. Sputnik, which is again adenovector vaccine, will be manufactured in 6 Indian companies. 3 have already started. It is already there. I think in 1 or 2 weeks, it should be available on a wider scale, probably to begin with in private sector. And then we have 2 very promising vaccines. One is Novavax, where the results were published last week and which clearly showed that the 91% in USA, and India Serum Institute is going to manufacture. It will have almost 1 billion production capacity. Biological E, where India has done advanced marketing agreement, and we are going to purchase that. Both are very similar vaccines, very high, and by September, October, I think we're having this deal. So we have a very healthy vaccine pipeline. Covishield and Covax, I think by July end, both of them should be manufacturing about 10 crore doses or 12 crore, so that in August we have about 25 crore doses available, at least for these 2 suppliers, plus many others will be coming. Finally, a indigenous mRNA vaccine is coming, and we should be having it in September or latest by October, which is very well aligned and attuned to the Indian program setting. 2 to 8 degrees storage, transport is easier. It can be kept at room temperature for quite some time. So it is be as good as the Pfizer or Moderna. So as I'm saying, and the names which I have taken, these are all indigenous vaccines except Novavax, which will be manufactured on license from USA.
Dr. Kumar, do you think India needs a bigger vaccination campaign, right? Now, see, what are some of the challenges? Challenges are, or should I say challenges were so far, the availability of the vaccine. Now, that is a lot better. Situation today is a lot better than where we were a few weeks back. But do we need a better campaign to encourage more people to take these vaccines where possible?
Obviously, that was a bigger challenge to complete the demand supply chain. But slowly we are getting over it. It will not be a problem in near future. But most bigger and larger rampant problem of the society is misconception based on unscientific facts, maybe read on WhatsApp and Facebook University, supplied and propagated by non-doctors and non-scientists, that actually give major breakers to the vaccination program. First, you have seen religious, then you have seen party politics, then you have seen many kind of things. We have to be away and out of this because this requires a lot of research, stringent process, peer review before coming and getting used in the public. Because medical science is an evolving process. We do something, come up with a protocol and policy. Over a period of time, we need to change the policy. That's we call evolving science and egoless science. We don't have ego. If duration of vaccine today is this, for example, 4 weeks, we may have to increase it. We may have to decrease it. Therefore, first we have to make the people aware vaccine is safe, vaccine is effective, get it done so that we can cut down the transmission chain and get close to the herd immunity as early as possible.
Last question, Mr. Arora. Now, tell us a little bit about this first death that was confirmed due to anaphylaxis following the COVID-19 vaccination. Just for the benefit of our viewers, for those who want to understand why it happened, how it happened, I think you'd be the best person to explain that.
So, all vaccines can have anaphylactic reaction or severe allergic reaction. Usually it is known that it occurs 1 to 5 cases per million doses administered. And and therefore the program has to be geared for that. And this is the fundamental reason that for adults, we are asking to stay for 30 minutes after getting the vaccine. It's a very important component, and that is why we have not lost. So in India, we have calculated our incidence of anaphylaxis and severe allergic reaction with both Covishield and Covaxin is little less than 1 per million. On the other hand, when we look at the data from Public Health England, and there it is around 15 per million. They also had fatalities. Unfortunately, we have lost with these 28 crore doses. One fatality has been, causality has been established that it was because of the anaphylaxis. Because adults, children can withstand severe allergy if you and you can take care. Adults require a more vigorous action. And that is why this waiting period of half an hour is there. All our vaccinators are trained. The reason is that during measles and rubella campaign, they were trained to give adrenaline right at the point of delivery of the vaccine if allergy happened. And most of the anaphylaxis and severe allergy takes place 70 to 80% within first half an hour, although it can occur up to 2 hours. So this is the framework, and that is why as a action, in fact, 2 weeks ago, India started near home corona vaccine centers, which is basically to see that old and frail people can be brought, collected in a small place near their homes. So in urban areas, it is in housing societies, but in villages, a cluster of 2 or 3 villages will have a vaccination center where these people can be brought in, given an injection, and asked to wait for some time and then sent back.
Dr. Kumar and Mr. Arora, thank you for joining us. I think many questions were answered, and in the benefit of all our viewers and all the questions that they may have, we hope that they got some of those answers. Thank you.